female adventurer. As you can see from the way I'm dressed, today will be a cosplay talk slash advice slash something day. And today's topic is things I wish I knew before I started cosplaying. As you remember from some videos ago where I talked about how I started cosplaying, I said that it was because I saw these 15-year-old girls dressed up in costumes and I thought that I can do it too. Well, these things that I will mention, nobody told me about them and I wish somebody did, so now I'm telling it to you. Number 1, it's really, really expensive. At first it may not seem a lot, and if you are making a costume that's only sewing and has a few parts, then it won't be that expensive. And if you, for example, need only cotton fabric, which is cheap, but if you are making something really, really exquisite with loads of detail and you're also making props, then it will go over 100-ish, if not 200, 300 euros. And that's why I would suggest first researching well before you make a costume to make sure that you can actually afford it, and then start saving up. Because things can and will be expensive, and also those little knickknacks, which are like these things, or like basic things, they are really expensive and they are also hard to find. And like in my now Syrian costume, one of the bony pieces alone costs 2 euros, and I need like 15 of them. So you can do the math there. Next thing that goes under also expenses is traveling and finding a place to stay at a convention, but I will talk about that later. Second thing, which goes with the material topic, is there will never be a material that looks exactly 100% like the one you are trying to recreate. For example, satin in real life looks way different than what it does in a game or an anime. It is easy to recreate computer games because they are more or less realistic, but with animes and mangas it's a little bit different because drawing style and everything else. Number 3 is transportation to conventions. It's firstly not only expensive, but it is really, really hard, and you have to pack in a suitcase, but then you have to leave your props out, but if you want to carry them, and then you have a bag, a prop, and a suitcase behind you, and you cannot open doors. So make sure you pack accordingly. Also bring your regular clothes with you, which I almost didn't do once. And be prepared for everything, which is why half of my suitcase when I go to convention consists of repair materials, paints, brushes, glue, hairspray, everything you may need. Next is something many perfectionists in cosplay have trouble understanding it in the beginning, which is you have to settle for what you can do, not for perfection or what you should do. Sometimes when you start out especially, you cannot do certain things because you simply lack skill and practice, and you cannot make them perfect, or you cannot make the shine in this way that you want, or you cannot do something else. So you have to settle for what you actually can do at the time with your skills, your resources, time, money, and you also have to take into consideration how this costume will travel. And if you make a sword, you will have to detach it, like make it detachable in some places, and that may ruin your design or your perfect idea, so settle for something you can actually do. Number 6, prepare for the worst. Instead of making only one clothing thing on, for example, armor, always make at least 3. For example, my Valendra corset in the front had 2 lacings, inner layer and outer layer, and it also had hooks in case something happened to the lacing or something popped open, so it would still hold together. So better more than less. You will be happy if something breaks but it still holds together afterwards, if it's just hanging on a thread, but it will at least hang on there instead of falling off on stage. Which brings us to number 7. Things will always happen at the worst moment. And it also goes with number 8. If everything seems to be going too smoothly, be prepared. Because something bad will happen no matter how much you prepare for it something will happen. Which is why I have all those glues and paints in my suitcase when I travel, and I also bring some of them to the convention, like the ones that I really need. Don't ever rely on the fact that somebody will have them, because nobody has time to fix your costume when they have to put on theirs, and sometimes putting on a costume takes an hour and they don't have time to even help you, so be prepared for something that may happen to you. Which leads us again to number 1, that you have to pay money to be prepared, because paints and glues and everything costs money. It's raining from the sky. It's actually not, I wish it was, but yeah, if you are a student or at school and your parents are not supportive of this hobby, you have to find a job or save money from your lunch or whatever. If you do work and you want to do this, make sure you pay your rent and buy food first, and then only make costumes, because it's just otherwise you will go broke. I hope this was useful to some of you who are just starting out or whatever, and if you know somebody who's starting out and needs a warning about all of these things, please make sure you share this video with them. And I wish you all a really nice day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. If you're making your costume, best of luck, because you will need it.